Howdy, Ando here from Happy Life Martial Arts. I was just about to record episode number 69 of my podcast, Fight for a Happy Life, and I thought, heck, why not turn on the camera and make a video at the same time? So if you're on the run and you only want to hear the audio, well, I'll put a link to the podcast below. But if, for whatever reason, you'd like to see my smiling face, well, keep watching. And what are we talking about today? Well, today I'm going to share a few tips on how to manage stress, how to deal with pain, how to control fear, and how to fight for your freedom. You know, little stuff like that. I grew up in Buffalo, New York, and Buffalo is famous for a few things. Chicken wings, of course, losing 4 Super Bowls in a row, and being cold. A lot of snow in Buffalo. And growing up, not a big deal. You get used to that kind of thing. But I do remember that in high school, I suffered a little bit more than usual. When I went to high school, I had to take a bus and a subway, and then the subway would let you off, maybe, I don't know, not that far, a quarter of a mile to my high school. And you had to walk uphill. I'm not going to tell you that you had to walk uphill both ways, but it sure felt like it. Anyway, in the winter, you'd get off the subway, and you'd start walking up this hill, and the wind would just hit you right in the face, and it was freezing cold. And I remember one day I was walking, and my body was just shivering, and I was curled up like this. My shoulders were up in my ears, and I just remember thinking how stupid I looked and how stupid I felt. My body was just shaking out of control, and it wasn't comfortable. Natural, maybe, it's trying to warm me up, but definitely not a comfortable position, and it was annoying. And it occurred to me that I might have control over my body's reaction to the cold, and I just decided to relax. I just decided to let go of the tension to see what would happen. And I was shocked. It actually went away. I suddenly didn't feel cold. I was cold, my body was cold, but I wasn't focused on it anymore. I didn't feel cold. Frozen bodily, but not frozen mentally. That was an important lesson, and a lesson I completely forgot about once I moved out to Los Angeles and escaped all the snow. That is until recently, when I started taking cold showers. Now, you've probably heard about this cold shower thing. It's been kind of a trend for a couple years now. Supposedly, there's a bunch of health benefits to immersing yourself in cold water. I can't speak to any of that. I'm just getting over a cold right now, so jury's out on that one. But I can tell you that I have been finding value in the cold shower as just a mental challenge. Now, that may not sound like a very significant challenge, but think about it. If you can't control yourself when you're getting hit with cold water, how do you think you're going to control yourself when you're getting hit by a punch or if you're getting stabbed? This is a great exercise for self-defense. When I step into the shower and I turn on that cold water, I pretend it's a fight. And I'm seeing, can I stand my ground? Can I think clearly? Can I stay in control here or not? If the water can beat me, well, then I figure pretty much anybody can beat me. And I'm not going to lie to you. It has been tough. The first few times, I actually just thought, this is stupid. This is impossible. I made excuses. I also tried cheating. I would start with a warm shower and then slowly make it colder and colder until it was just enough cold for me to say, I can handle that, but that's enough for the day. I think that counts. But in my heart, I knew that wasn't it. I knew I had to toughen up. That's what I kept telling myself. Come on, man, toughen up. Mind over matter. Just get in there and you can take it. But that was a mistake. As a general rule, I would tell you, telling someone to just toughen up is worthless advice. It's just as worthless as telling someone, relax. What do you mean relax? If I could relax, I would relax. What do you mean toughen up? If I could toughen up, I would just toughen up. This is really important to think about. Everybody, no matter who you are, has a breaking point. No matter how tough you think you are, no matter how much stress you think you can take, at some point, your brain will be overwhelmed. Your nerves and your body will be overwhelmed. So the real question isn't, are you tough? Or how do you get tougher? Because that will always break down at some point. The question is, what do you do once you reach the breaking point? What do you do when your mind is overwhelmed? What do you do when you're now feeling the pain? The real issue here is control. Who's in control? What's in control? If you're under stress and you're letting that break you down, then that stressful situation is controlling you. Maybe your ego is controlling you. Maybe you just had an injury and that pain is controlling you. It makes you feel that you're limited, that you're not creative, that you're not smart, that you're not tough, that you're not cool. Whatever it is, if you allow anything to take away your confidence, take away your power, then it is beating you. And that's not okay. It's not okay because if something is controlling you, it's also taking away your freedom. Now, I don't know about you, but the whole reason I started training in the martial arts, the whole reason I started training in self-defense was to gain control. At first, I just wanted to control me. I wanted to control my body, my health, my thoughts, my emotions. But pretty soon it became clear that if you want to be good in martial arts, you also had to be good at controlling somebody else, someone who's out of control, someone who's trying to take control from you. So that's what this is all about. It's not about being tough. It's about controlling. So let's get to some tips. How do you stay in control of your thoughts, your feelings, and your movements when you're confronted with stress, fear, pain, and doubt? How do you maintain your freedom instead of freezing up under pressure? I've got a few ideas here, and let me tell you right up front, I'm not a doctor, I'm not a psychologist, I'm just a martial artist who's been experimenting with a few things. They've been working well for me, so I'm sharing them so they'll hopefully work for you too. But it's always going to be up to your own experiments. I've been trying these ideas out everywhere. I've been trying them in relationships, at work. I've been trying them in the dentist chair while getting a massage. I've tried them, of course, sparring, grappling, and basically these tricks work everywhere. So here they come. The first trick, when your brain is stressed out, when you're just obsessing over the same fear or doubt over and over again, I want you to swallow it and drop it into your stomach. I know, I don't want to get wacky here. I don't want to talk about chakras and chi with all due respect, but the good news is I don't think you have to. Just try this. Take all of that mental pressure and just move it down into your gut. I think your gut is just way tougher than your brain. Your brain is delicate, but I don't think the gut is. Even if you just think literally about digestion, you could go to an all-you-can-eat buffet, right? You're in Vegas having a great time. Maybe you're drinking booze, all kinds of it. You go up to that buffet and you eat food, all kinds of it. Desserts, all kinds of it. You eat so much your stomach is under a ton of pressure. But your body, miraculously, somehow breaks it all down. It processes everything. It's able to divide up the nutrients. It's able to level out your blood sugars. It's able to somehow balance out your hormones so that you don't die. Your gut is smart and tough. So if you give it a big job, I think it can handle it. Don't get me wrong. Your brain is powerful, very powerful, but it can only really handle one problem at a time. And if you just keep giving it one stimulus, one food, fear or doubt or pain, then it's just going to keep sitting with it. It doesn't digest it. It doesn't break it down. It just keeps repeating what's negative over and over again. So in this case, even if you just visualize it, even if this is all made up, that you visualize moving it to a different part of your body, into your stomach, I think you'll find that it frees up your brain a little bit. You find a little bit of mental space. And in that space, you can start moving forward, thinking creatively, see the problem from a different angle, and find a solution. So, call me crazy, but the next time you feel overwhelmed, the next time it feels like the whole world is pressing into your head, take that pressure and drop it. Drop it into your gut. Your gut can take it. The second trick, instead of trying to move the pressure, try to move you. You don't have to go do sprints or drop down for 100 burpees, although those are fine ideas. It could be as simple as breathing, rapid breathing, if that's what it takes. It could just be squeezing your fists or curling your toes, flexing your thighs, just undulating your stomach muscles. Anything that gets you moving is going to help you. Here's the thing. Under pressure, it's very natural to freeze up. Someone slaps you in the face, you freeze up. Someone calls you a name or hurts your feelings, you freeze up. You take a hit, get hurt, you freeze up. It's just a natural reaction of your body to freeze mentally and physically when there's a big problem coming your way. Of course, just because it's natural doesn't mean it's good necessarily. In a self-defense situation, if you withdraw, if you curl up and want to die, you will die. And metaphorically speaking, if it's relationships or business, if you're not in there still moving forward and taking actions, you're going to curl up and die as well. So let's not fall into the trap of taking away our own freedom by allowing our natural reaction to curl up and die take over. We should be training ourselves to always be moving forward mentally and physically. When you feel overwhelmed, when you feel frozen mentally and physically, and you can't move that pressure out of your head into your gut, well, then let your body take the lead. By moving your body even a little bit, even just by breathing or wiggling your fingers, you're showing your brain that you're not trapped. You can get out of that curled up position and start expanding again. Start getting the blood moving again. Start getting the oxygen circulating again. Start getting your thinking moving again. Everything can come from the body back to your mind. When I was a kid, I played Little League baseball. And when I got hit by a pitch and I wanted to cry or die, the coach would always say the same thing. Walk it off. Nowadays, you might hear Taylor Swift to tell you to shake it off. Well, there's a lot of wisdom in those words. Movement has magic in it. So the next time you're under stress, you're in pain, you're afraid, wiggle something. Breathe. Just move. I think you'll be amazed at how much that frees up your brain to start solving the problem. The third trick. Okay. The third trick is to give your mind a task. Like I said, your mind is very, very powerful, but it is wired to find problems. That's not a bad thing. You want to be safe in your environment. So your brain constantly scanning for trouble is a good thing. The problem is, if you don't move to the next step to solve that problem, it'll just keep sounding the alarm bell. It just keeps repeating the problem over and over again. To break that cycle, you have to purposely give it something to do. It's kind of like that old idea of counting sheep so you can get to sleep. Your mind is thinking about all kinds of stuff, so you give it a task, even a menial, seemingly unimportant task like counting sheep, and it helps turn off the bells. Widening your awareness releases stress and helps you see the problem from a different perspective, which can only help you solve it. So what kinds of things can you do? Really, whatever you want. But let's say you say the alphabet backwards. Say it backwards as fast as you can. That hurts my brain just thinking about it. Or give yourself a math problem. Anything. Maybe write a haiku. Sing your favorite song over and over in your head. Maybe make a to-do list of what you need to do that day. Anything will work. Just remember that your brain is not your enemy. It's trying to help you. And it just needs a little direction. It's a powerful weapon that just needs to be aimed at the right target. Okay, now I want to be clear about something. When we're talking about these tricks to manage your fear and pain and stress, I am in no way telling you to deny or just distract yourself from a problem. If you're in cold water, you need to know you're in cold water so you don't die of hypothermia. If someone is insulting you, you need to know that so that you can handle that as a threat appropriately. If you break a bone or something's about to break your bone, you should know all about that. That information is crucial for your survival and your happiness. So I'm not talking about denying problems, and I'm not talking about just distracting yourself from problems. Don't forget, information is power. but it's only powerful if you've trained yourself to use it, to control it. Stress is not going away. No matter who you are, you're going to be in pain at some point. The big question is, how long does it take you to turn the page to get to the next chapter in your story? If you don't turn that page, well, then your story might end right there. So this is what your self-defense training is all about. Learning to get as much information as you can, and then learning how to use it to survive. Of course, that's not just going to help you in a fight, it helps you in everything you do in your life. So, don't let stress or pain or fear shrink your body or freeze your mind. Don't let anything or anyone control you and steal your freedom. Don't let your own doubts and your own ego catch you in a trap. When you feel the weight of the world crushing you, when you feel like you're suffocating, breathe, move, think. Focus on what you can do, not on what you can't. Focus on what feels good, not on what hurts. Focus on what's working, not what's broken. Focusing on what you can control instead of what you can't control is the secret to holding on to your freedom. Okay, that's all I wanted to say. If you found any of that interesting or helpful, thank you for sharing it with a friend, or at least giving it a thumbs up. Until next time, smiles up, my friend. Let your smile be your shield and your sword. Keep fighting for a happy life.